Hi, everyone, and welcome to our latest episode of Getting to Gold. Let me move this down a bit, right? Blocking my face. I am so glad you guys could join us. I hope that you had an amazing holiday. I know I did. I got to see my family and, well, not all of my family, obviously, because of COVID. But I got to see quite a bit of my family and my friends and just people that I love. And that was really good for my mind, my heart, my soul, all those good things. So I hope that you guys were able to, if not see your family, maybe hop on a Zoom, do a couple of phone calls, whatever the case may be. I know it's a really tough time right now with everything going on. And today actually marks the beginning of a new month and the last month of the year. Woo! If you're like me, that kind of sent chills down your spine. You're like, ooh, ooh. And for me, it definitely did. And it made me really reflect on how the year has been and kind of the different changes and lessons I kind of learned along the way. One of the things that I really focused on this year was launching Getting to Gold. I was so excited to connect with entrepreneurs. I was so excited to discuss, their journey and to share. And one of the things that I learned while doing this Getting to Gold, and I'm just being vulnerable with you guys, is that, I thought that my troubles were unique and that things that I were going through was unique. But what I started to learn was when you're running a business, a lot of us tend to have a lot of the same kind of hurdles, and a lot of the same kind of questions and problems. And as I was walking through with many of these entrepreneurs, even with you guys through this year, I realized that when you are in a community, you want to create a community so you're not by yourself, right? You want to create a community so that it doesn't make you feel like you're, alone. So today I want to just kind of talk about the lessons and what I have learned, not only running my business, but also the lessons that I have learned while I have interacted with others while they're running theirs. I hope you guys will, bear with me as I do this today. Normally, yes, I do have a guest, but today, right now, it's just me. I hope that's okay. Okay, so if you don't know me, I am the managing attorney at J Bull Consulting Firm LLC. We are a small business and creatives law firm. We help small businesses and creatives create a strong legal foundation by offering services such as contracts, LLC formation. We do trademarks, copyright, general counsel, and we recently just got into what we call is legacy services. Our legacy services include estate planning, trust, and wills. So we're really excited to expand because we love to help entrepreneurs from the beginning. But what I realize is that, hey, let's protect, what you're creating on the back end as well. So that's why we introduce legacy services. So here's the thing. Number one, okay, what is the number one thing that I learned while running a business and talking to other entrepreneurs? I learned that running a business, a lot of it is about the mind. It's completely about the mind. And what do I mean by that? So a lot of times in our business or when you're starting your business, you have to almost convince yourself to do it, right? Like some of us are like, whew, I don't even know if I have what it takes, or I don't even know what it would take. And whatever excuse we come up with, right? You have to get over that hurdle. But the thing is, while you're moving in your business, that doesn't change. The hurdles and the mind meld, it continues to be there. A lot of times this shows up in our prices, especially for service providers. Okay. If you're a service provider, a lot of times, if you haven't done the work in your mind about your business, then you're going to start finding that you're undercharging. Not only are you undercharging, that you're exhausted. Okay, you're exhausted because when you when you're thinking in your mind like, oh, no one's going to pay that price. Oh, nobody has that money. Oh, no one's going to think that I'm worth that. Then you're going to charge that way, and you're going to communicate to your clients that way. one of the things that I realized early on is you can't tell somebody what money they have, right? You can't go into a conversation and assume that someone doesn't have the funds or doesn't have what it takes to be a part of what your business is offering. What you have to do is you have to show up, give value, right? And know your worth in that regard. And so, what I know, number one, when you are starting or even running your business, because I've been running, I don't even consider myself a starter, right? Like I'm running a business, is that I have to consistently check my mindset. I have to consistently look at my mind and being like, okay, where am I at? Am I undervaluing what I'm bringing? Am I undercharging? Am I doing stuff that makes my clientele feel uncomfortable because I don't feel confident? Okay. Number two, the second thing that I learned is you need to know your numbers. I don't care if you are just starting or you've been started. If you don't know your numbers to your business, you are doing yourself and your clients a big disservice. So, what do I mean, know your numbers? When I say know your numbers, I mean you should know how long it takes for a client to sign on for you. If you're a service-based business, how long does it take for a client to sign on for you? If you don't know, how often do you convert a client, right? So if you have 10 leads, what is the percentage of people who actually sign on for your products? So you need to know your numbers. Knowing your numbers will allow you to target what you need to target. So for example, if you are having services and you know your numbers, you might realize like, oh, most people are not actually buying this service. Like they're not actually doing anything for this service. I don't need to offer this anymore. That might be your conclusion, right? You might find, oh, no one is actually using these services. No one's actually using these services, so there's nothing I can do about it. So that is why you want to know your numbers. When you know your numbers, then you're able to target the areas that's actually making you money, that's actually giving you money, because you don't want to be utilizing or having services that nobody is using, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like we're trying to make money. We're trying to make money, y'all. Okay, so that's one of the things. So number one, work on your mind. Number two, know your numbers. And I think the third thing is, I know we spend a lot of time researching. We spend a lot of time researching. We spend a lot of time looking over things. But in all of that, you need to remember that your voice is still unique. And the way you see and operate your business is unique. You don't have to do what everyone is doing just because it works for them. And that's okay. Like, it's completely fine for you to take a completely different creative way. Every new idea had to be new. I think we forget that. Like, every new idea had to be new. Somebody had to come up with something that nobody else has done that's new. So I want to encourage you, as you're operating your business, you may be seeing other people who are being very successful with what they're doing and how they're doing it. And that's great. And maybe it could work for you, but it's also okay to have new ideas. Just because it's not been done doesn't mean it can't be done. So don't turn off your brain, right? Be creative, be innovative. Think like, oh, you know what? I think this could work. This could be cool. Which brings me to my fourth point. You gotta give yourself some time. I think it's so easy to get so impatient while we are building. And it may feel like it may feel like you've been doing this forever. And then you look up and it's been 6 months. And 6 months is not that much time. I know it feels like it's a lot of time, but it's not. So when you're moving forward, what can help is if you monitor your time. One of the ways you can monitor your time is by setting goals within your month. And as you accomplish those goals, marking them off. And then when you feel or have those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm behind. Oh my gosh, you feel impatient or you feel overwhelmed because things are taking too long, you'll be able to go and look at your goals. You'll be able to look at your notebook and say, you know what, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. And you'll be able to do all of these different things that are necessary for your business. And you'll see that not only have you utilized your time well, that you have done such a good job that you've accomplished all of these things. So in those moments where you're feeling like you are impatient, like I often feel sometimes, you are doing so good. You're doing so well. So track your progress. Everything counts. From even if that month you're just like, I got over my mindset of charging this much money, that is progress. Okay. So those are some of the lessons that I learned while I was interacting with you guys, right? And running my own business this year, because this is the first of the month. And so we want to think about what we can do for 2021. We want to think about what we did for 2020, because she was a doozy, wasn't she? We want to think about how we can move forward and make it an even better year for our business. Don't give up just because of things that happened in 2020, or even if some of those lessons were a little bit more costly than you anticipated. Okay. So that's just like my little spill for today for getting to goal.